everybody, and welcome back to another Pokemon Challenge video. Playing through Pokemon Emerald with only a single Swinub was not like anything I expected, to say the least. And today, we're continuing our current mini-series, going up the generations, playing through as characters from the Pokemon anime. Today's subject versus Pokemon Platinum is top coordinator Zoey from the Sinnoh region. Zoey was Dawn's main rival in the anime, and actually was the first female rival to be regular at the time. They both were competing to become top coordinator by winning the Sinnoh Grand Festival. They both ended up making it to the finals as well, with Zoey winning the Ribbon Cup, with Dawn as runner-up. This also makes Zoey the first major rival to win their region's major tournament. Zoey was initially against people competing in both contests and gym battles, so this run is definitely taking her out of her comfort zone, to say the least. But hey, you guys wanted to see her over Nando. Zoey had 6 Pokemon during her run in the anime, but as always for these runs, we'll be using 3 of them, opting for her main Pokemon and the weaker, more unique additions. Her main Pokemon is her Glameow, followed by her Misdreavus turned Mismagius, with her other Pokemon being Gastrodon, Lumineon, Glade, and Leafeon. You could argue her Gastrodon was more of a main Pokemon than Mismagius, but I really wanted to use her Lumineon since it's really unique and obscure, meaning I chose to drop Glade, Leafeon, and Gastrodon. Both Glameow and Lumineon are pretty poor when it comes to stats, but I've never really used either of them before, to great extent at least, so it should be a lot of fun. Mismagius is obviously really strong, but as always, I'll do my best to make sure all 3 of them shine equally. With that being said, let's quickly go over the rules for this run. Of course, I'm not allowed to use any items in battle. Held items and Pokeballs for HM users are fair game, however. Glameow, Mismagius, and Lumineon are the only Pokemon allowed to participate in battle. Both Mismagius and Lumineon will start as their pre-evolved form, and they are the only ones allowed to evolve. Zoey's Glameow never evolved, so ours won't be doing so either. And I must play on the game mode set at all times. This run's gonna be a lot of fun, and as always with these team runs, I don't expect any massive hurdles, but I'm excited to see what fun and unique strategies we can put forth. And as always, if you enjoy the video, it'd be really awesome if you left a quick like down below and maybe even a nice comment like these guys. Thanks so much, Charaboro, Nightwolf, and Easer. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the videos. Let's jump right in and see if Zoey from the Pokemon anime has what it takes to beat Pokemon Platinum. I begin our adventure as a young girl named, well, Zoey. What else would I name her? Let's be real. Upon choosing Piplup as our starter, our rival Nando challenges us to a battle. But instead, out comes a Glameow named Dawn. And after checking our PC to get rid of the penguin, we find 2 more stars in Jesselina the Misdreavus and Kenny the Finian. Meet the team, all named after coordinators from the Sinnoh Grand Festival. Apart from Dawn, our Glameow getting the move Return right away, both Jesselina and Kenny have horrible moves, with Psywave and Pound being their only method of attacking. Kenny eventually gets Water Gun, but Jesselina won't get anything better than Astonish until level 23. But at least she's immune to normal. Our first rival battle with Nando with the full trio is really easy for that reason, making it time for our first gym challenge versus the Rock-type gym leader Rourke. With Kenny having Water Gun, he makes the perfect lead, one-shotting both Geodude and Onix despite being underleveled. But his Ace Cranidos isn't 4 times weak to water like those 2, taking the hit really well. I switch into Jesselina here, thinking it might not have a move to hit her with, but I get proven wrong really quickly with a Swift Pursuit. Regardless, Dawn comes in after, taking Cranidos out with several hits from Return. There's the Coal Badge! 1 down, 7 more to go. Next up is Galactic Commander Mars. She leads with a Zubat who loves Toxic, so I lead with Dawn hoping to just one-shot it with Return. It doesn't get one-shot, but it also doesn't use Toxic, which is great. We're massively underleveled for this fight, and her ace is the evolved form of Dawn in Purugly, dropping her really quickly. I know it has Feint Attack, but I hope to send Jesselina out and get at least 1 growl off to make Kenny's chance a lot better. She does take a Feint Attack before going down, lowering its attack in the process as Kenny comes out. He's only level 12, but thankfully his Quick Claw activates and he was able to attract Purugly, stopping it from attacking. Water Gun hardly does anything, however. He's 5 levels lower and a Finian and gets hit really hard by Scratch despite the attack drop. I keep having him use Water Gun over and over, and he gets a few critical hits, which speeds up the process, but he gets taken down to only 6 hit points. He cuts it really close, but Purugly just found Kenny out of this world, enough to let him win. With Gardenia coming up, Kenny won't be much use, so I focus our training efforts on Jesselina, getting her to level 23, learning the move Psybeam. It's time for our second gym challenge, versus the Grass-type gym leader, Gardenia. She leads with her Turtwig, and I lead with Dawn. Fake Out plus Return doesn't one-shot, and it goes for Reflect, meaning we won't do too much damage against Turtwig. We need Dawn to be able to get a hit off against her Cherrim, since if Jesselina takes too long to take it out, she'll get hit by Leech Seed, causing us to slowly but surely lose the fight. Eventually, Jesselina's able to come in and take Cherrim out, only getting hit by 1 Magical Leaf, as Gardenia's ace, Roserade, comes out. This is why I wanted Psybeam. It's super effective and really strong, but still does slightly less than half. I go for Astonish to take it below half, but forgot about the berry, meaning we need to do so again while paralyzed because of Stun Spore. But luckily, she hit through every single time and survives on a single hit point, taking Roserade out. There's the Forest Badge. 2 down, 6 more to go. Commander Jupiter had me pretty scared for a bit. Jesselina takes out Zubat in 1 shot, but her ace Skuntank is really deadly and able to one-shot pretty easily with Night Slash. But I got really lucky after a few tries, with Dawn getting a critical hit return, taking it out, after Kenny and Jesselina were knocked out. We get access to the Wayward Cave. It's a bit out of the wayward, but here we can grab the Dusk Stone. Using this evolves Jesselina into Miss Magius. She's pretty bad though, not getting Shadow Ball until the TM, and no moves until Pastoria City. Upon reaching Hardhome City, we run into a contest judge, so we stop by the hall and meet the town's gym leader, Fantina. But before we leave, we are a top coordinator after all. Let's do a contest. First up's the visual competition. We dress our Glameow Dawn up as a French cat at the fiery gates of hell. Oui, oui. Then in the dance competition, we dance like we're on fire. Because we are. And then finally in the acting competition, we're figuratively on fire as we completely crush poor Wheezy, Whiskers, and Hootie. Corey, what the hell is wrong with you? Why'd you name your Hoot Hootie? Are you 9? Anyways, naturally, we won the cute contest. Have you seen us? Making it time for our third gym challenge versus the Ghost-type gym leader, Fantina. I lead with Dawn against her Duskull and use Feint Attack. It does over half and misses us with Will-O-Wisp. It doesn't matter though, as she was holding a Rostberry. After taking it out, her Haunter comes out. Feint Attack does over half, but puts Dawn to sleep with Hypnosis and then confuses her. But I try to get Dawn to use Hypnosis of her own. Not to put Haunter to sleep, but to stop it from damaging us with Sucker Punch. It's all it can do to Dawn. She wakes up and puts Haunter to sleep with Hypnosis, and then snaps out of confusion, taking it out. Then her ace, a Miss Magius of her own, comes out. A girl of taste. Feint Attack does slightly less than half to Miss Magius, and it's faster, doing less than half to us with Psybeam. But then by her using Confuse Ray, it stops us from hitting her again, making Dawn go down the next turn. Then my Miss Magius comes out, and while Astonish is weak, it can make the foe flinch, but it confuses her as well. So I switch out for Kenny. Kenny gets ended rather quickly despite attracting it with the Quick Claw, and Jesselina then comes back out. In the end, we got really unlucky. Astonish failed to flinch as much as it could have, causing us to lose the fight. However, on the next attempt, I have Dawn use Hypnosis rather than Feint Attack. And it hits, and then it stays asleep long enough for her to take it out. Should've just done that in the first place. There's the Relic Badge. 3 down, 5 more to go. Immediately after, we have another rival battle with Nando. He leads with Staravia, and I lead with Kenny. It begins to set up double team while I summon the rain with Rain Dance. But for some really weird reason, Nando calls Staravia back for his Groddle, who obviously does take Kenny out, but with his Staravia now weakened and the double team removed, Jesselina comes in and crushes any chance he had at winning the fight. And there's really nothing of note between there and our next gym challenge. versus the fighting type gym leader Maylene. With Jesselina being immune to fighting and having Psybeam, this should be pretty easy. But Psybeam's only super effective against one of her Pokemon in Machoke. Regardless, she takes both Meditite and Machoke down, but has taken some damage and had her speed lowered. So I switch her out for Dawn, knowing she is pretty useless in this fight, and maybe I could get a charm off. Unfortunately, Lucario outspeeds though and takes her out. I then send Kenny out to try to get a little bit of damage off on Lucario. He hits once with Water Pulse at least, and this ended up helping out a lot. Jesselina comes out and uses Confuse Ray. Lucario manages to hurt itself twice in a row, and this coupled with Psybeam and her choosing not to heal made for a really easy fight. There's the Cobble Badge! 4 down, only 4 more to go. On the way to Pastoria City, our Finneon Kenny evolved into Luminion. Such an awesome Pokemon that doesn't get a lot of respect. Let's go, Kenny! In Pastoria City, we get access to the move relearner. Here I have Jesselina learn the move Magical Leaf. Perfect for the upcoming gym. But first, we have another rival battle with Nando. He isn't any different than the last time we faced him, but he's a bit stronger than we are. This causes some problems for a few tries, but Kenny does really well for us, taking out Staravia like he was unable to do before, and even doing quite a number on Grottle before going down. And Dawn is able to come in and finish him off, making it time for our 5th gym challenge versus the water-type gym leader Crasher Wake. I actually struggled on this fight for quite a bit. His lead Gyarados' Intimidate makes leading with Dawn do too little, and it and his Floatzel have a Dark-type move for Jesselina. We need a quick way to get rid of Gyarados. So I teach the TM for Shockwave to Jesselina. This allows for her to nearly one-shot Gyarados. So by confusing it on the first turn, she can take Gyarados out without sustaining any damage. And she can do the exact same thing to his ace Floatzel, taking it out with Confuse Ray and Magical Leaf. And with his final Pokemon being a Quagsire, one more Magical Leaf finishes Crasher Wake off. There's the Fen Badge. 5 down, only 3 more to go. In Celestic Town, we have our first battle with Galactic boss Cyrus. We cut it pretty close, but Kenny manages to finish him off, with only 13 hit points remaining. And once again, Kenny's time to shine against Nando. The rival battles have been really weird this run. You would think this one would be harder, since his team has gotten super powered since then, but we mainly have struggled on his Grottle. And now that it isn't resistant to Kenny's Surf, we managed to deal with him fairly easily, using the entire team. Then I tag along with Riley over at Iron Island to defeat some Team Aqua Grunts. And for my help, he gives me an egg. Comment down below and guess the closest town in relation to where you think this egg is gonna hatch. I'll give a shout out to the first person who gets it right the next time we get an egg in a challenge run. You've got to comment down below in the comment section first. The live premiere chat, if you're watching, doesn't count. And hey, even if you're not first, comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Shout out to PokeKid Gamer for being the first to get it right in the Swine Up run. Great job! Now it's time for our 6th gym challenge versus the Steel-type gym leader, Byron. I lead with Kenny despite him leading with Magneton. In hindsight, I would have led differently, but either way, Kenny takes Magneton out, barely hanging on from a Thunderbolt. He then takes Steelix out in a single shot and does a great deal of damage to his ace Bastiodon before getting taken out. I then send Dawn out to use Charm 3 times to make Bastiodon as useless as possible, but this ended up working against me in a pretty funny way. I confused Bastiodon to try and stop it from attacking, and it survived with just a couple hit points remaining. But because its attack was so low, even it hurting itself wasn't enough to take it out. That was pretty funny regardless, and Jesselina still manages to finish the fight. There's the Mind Badge! 6 down! Only 2 more to go! Before heading to Snowpoint City, we have some Team Galactic shenanigans to deal with. So we crush Commander Saturn at Lake Valor, and then have a rematch with Commander Mars at Lake Verity, using Kenny to beat her once again. I bet she's feeling some deja vu there. Now we need to go check in on Nando, but first, we have our Snowpoint City Gym Challenge versus the Ice-type gym leader, Candace. And I actually struggled here for a pretty long time. Leading with Kenny was the optimal strategy since her lead Sneasel would do too much damage to either Dawn or Jesselina. But then afterwards, her Abomasnow would come out and do massive damage to anybody with Wood Hammer. We don't want Abomasnow to come out against Kenny, so I thought of a really neat solution. I went ahead and taught Kenny the TM for U-turn. By hitting Sneasel with Surf, and then U-turn, it allows us to essentially switch to Jesselina as if we were on the Switch game mode, having her send her Frostlass out next. And with Jesselina now having Shadow Ball, Frostlass is an easy knockout with 2 of them, while she only uses Double Team. Now Abomasnow comes out against Jesselina, which is great! She's capable of doing the most damage to it, and she doesn't have to be sent into a massive hit. She gets Abomasnow down really low before getting taken out, and Dawn comes in to finish it off. Then her final Pokemon, Piloswine, comes in and gets put to sleep by Dawn's hypnosis, allowing for me to switch to Kenny and drown it beneath the waves. There's the Icicle badge! 7 down, only 1 more to go. But first, we have to stop Team Magma with our second battle against Galactic boss Cyrus. He's roughly the same as before, making his team not much of an issue, combining the forces of all of Kenny, Dawn, and Jesselina. And Saturn was no different than before either, making it time for the Distortion World to give chase to Cyrus. We jump inside and make our way through the labyrinth. Oh? Riolu, now is not the time! If you said the egg would hatch out of this world, you were right. Anyways, it's time for the final battle with Galactic boss Cyrus. His team is super powered, adding a Houndoom and Gyarados to his Weavile, Crobat, and Honchkrow. And considering we are anything but overleveled, this is a really tough fight. Kenny fails to one-shot his Houndoom, getting hit with a Dark Pulse, but being able to waste one of Cyrus's items. Next up's his Gyarados. Since Kenny can't do anything to it, I have him U-turn for Dawn to come out. She gets blasted by an Earthquake on the switch-in, meaning we've practically lost the fight right there. But then, I have an idea. I do the exact same thing again, except have U-turn call Jesselina in. She's immune to Earthquake with her ability Levitate, being a free switch-in to hit it with a Shockwave. This gets a lucky critical hit, taking it out in a single shot. It wouldn't have otherwise, but regardless, we still go on to lose the fight. Shockwave's just not powerful enough. I continue to try for a while, but we're getting nowhere. That critical hit was the closest we've gotten, and every other attempt we get critical hits in our direction, causing things to go even worse. These are the parts I don't normally show you guys. For every luck I get, trust me, it comes back in my direction 5 times as much. I then decide it's time to use some of the TMs we've collected along the way, teaching Thunderbolt to Jesselina and Ice Beam to Kenny. I was holding off as long as I could, but now's the time. Even then, it's still not enough. Thunderbolt doesn't one-shot Gyarados either, or Honchkrow, and his Weavile outspeeds and drops anybody still standing. My best bet's to use the rare candies I've collected along the way, as I am not going back through the Distortion World. We need to be just a little bit stronger. I try a bunch of combinations of levels with the 7 rare candies we have, getting so close, only to be frozen solid or critically hit. Eventually, Kenny manages to defeat Weavile with only 5 hit points remaining, leaving his final Pokemon, Crobat, all on Dawn. I know we need to be able to put it to sleep with Hypnosis or we're done for, so I take the risk and put it to sleep as Dawn gets hit by Toxic. But thankfully, after a little over an hour, Dawn manages to 3-shot Crobat with Return, while it stays fast asleep. That fight was a lot of fun. The perfect teamwork fight in a trio run, and it's awesome I was able to do it around his level. So after defeating Giratina to leave the Distortion World, it's time for our 8th and final gym challenge versus the Electric type gym leader Volkner. My team doesn't have anything great for Electric types, unfortunately, and his lead Jolteon's Thunder Wave really causes problems on my first attempt. Using all we had, we managed to make it to his final Pokemon and a Selectivire, but it dropped Kenny really quick. But then I remembered, I do have something to counter an Electric type. I lead with Dawn this time, and Jolteon's Thunder Wave doesn't work because of her ability Limber. This gives us a free hit against it, taking it out the next turn. And then his Raichu comes out. This thing has Focus Blast, so I make sure to put it to sleep immediately with Hypnosis and take it out with several hits from Return. Then comes his Ace Electivire, and I figure we might as well try Hypnosis again, and it connects, staying asleep long enough for Dawn to take it out as well. I never dreamed my Glameow, of all things, would be my Volkner counter. She goes down to Luxray after one final hit with Return, and Luxray then proceeds to take Jesselina down as well, leaving me with only Kenny, my water type, against the electric gym, but he outspeeds, and Volkner was all out of items, getting our final badge. There's the Beacon badge! All 8 gym badges of the Sinnoh region are now ours! It is time to head to the Pokemon League. But first, we have one final rival battle with Nando, the guy we almost played as instead. He has a full team of 6 now, and with our trio as they currently stand, they struggle quite a bit. I'm sure we could do this at this level without too much struggle, but with the league coming up, I'd rather just train and prepare for that, so we can use one of those strategies against him. 62 is a pretty low level for a challenge run, but considering we have 3 Pokemon, I figure I'll give it a shot at this level. I went and picked up the TM for Psychic for Jesselina, and the TM for Psych Up and Swagger for Dawn, also teaching her the move, Last Resort. It's time to put forth a strategy I have always wanted to try since starting these runs, and Dawn is my perfect candidate. Nando leads with his Staraptor, and I put it to sleep immediately with Dawn's Hypnosis. I then have her use Swagger, raising its attack 2 stages and confusing it. And I then have her use Swagger again, taking Staraptor to +4 attack. Why would I do that? So I can have her use the move Psych Up. This copies the stat changes the foe has, and in this case, thanks to Swagger, it copies +4 attack directly onto Dawn. And since she has used all of her other moves, she can now use the devastatingly powerful move Last Resort while holding a Silk Scarf. This move is almost 30 power higher than a maxed out Return, easily eviscerating Nando's team in a single shot each. Now it is time for the Pokemon League. First up is the Bugmaster Aaron. He leads with his Yanmega, who begins spamming Double Team, but this is actually fine in this instance, because Psych Up copies all stat changes, and this includes both the evasion and speed from its ability Speed Boost. So even though Dawn misses Hypnosis several times, we can copy the changes it's been giving itself, and even manage to land a Swagger to copy as well. We land Last Resort soon after, taking it out, followed by his Heracross and Vespiquen. But his Scizor comes out, surviving with just a sliver, hitting Dawn with an Iron Head. I try to put it to sleep while he heals, and again after, missing both times. It hits through with an Iron Head, taking Dawn down to a single hit point, and we manage to get a Swagger off. It then hurts itself and goes down to one more Last Resort, followed by his Drapion for the victory. I give our ace Dawn a rest and lead with Jesselina for the Groundmaster Bertha. Magical Leaf takes her lead Whiscash out in a single shot, with her Hippowdon being next up. It summons the sand with Sandstream, and Magical Leaf does a bit over half. It makes Jesselina drowsy with Yawn, so I call her back for Kenny to finish the fight up. And he does so really easily with Surf and Ice Beam for her Gliscor. The third member of the Elite Four is the Fire Master Flint, and Kenny is very easily able to defeat his entire team. Kenny has surprised me so much during this run. I have a huge newfound respect for Luminion. He has done so well. Next up is the final member of the Elite Four, the Psychic Master, Lucian. He leads with a Mr. Mime who likes to summon the screens, so I make sure to put it to sleep quickly with Dawn. I know he has a Bronzong, so I use Swagger on it 3 times to raise its attack to the max. It doesn't use any physical moves, so there's no risk in doing so. And after copying those changes, Dawn's able to one-shot his entire team, even his Bronzong, making it time for the champion of the Sinnoh region. Does top coordinator Zoey from the Pokemon anime have what it takes to also become the champion of the Sinnoh region? Let's find out! First up's her Spiritomb versus Kenny. Surf does over half to it, and a critical hit Dark Pulse takes Kenny down pretty low. The following Surf actually fails to finish Spiritomb off, but it also fails to take Kenny out. Cynthia heals, and then 2 more hits from Surf take Spiritomb out. Her Roserade comes out next. I have Kenny use Ice Beam on it before getting taken out, but I wanted him to faint here, so I could send Dawn out. Roserade's the ideal Pokemon for her to set up against. Dawn puts Roserade to sleep and begins to use Swagger. I have her use this twice. Roserade stays asleep and wakes up after Dawn copies the stats with Psych Up, but hurts itself in confusion, knocking itself out. And with Dawn's newly found attack boost, she has nothing left to do but pull out the last resort for a photo finish, sweeping Cynthia's entire team. And for Dawn's incredible effort, I let her evolve into Purugly. She has officially retired. There you have it! Zoey from the Pokemon anime just beat Pokemon Platinum, only using her Glameow, Mismagius, and Luminion. And she has won this game! This quickly became one of my favorite challenge runs I've done thus far. Kenny surprised me so much, and I got to put forth a strategy I have wanted to use for so long. If you like these kinds of videos and haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I upload one every single Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and maybe even sometimes other days too. And of course, leaving a like before you go and a nice comment also goes a really long way to help the channel and the video if you did enjoy it. And who knows, maybe I'll even feature your comment in a future Pokemon challenge run. And if you have challenge ideas, be sure to suggest those down below as well. I'm always looking for ideas. Want to see another Pokemon challenge run from me right now? I highly recommend checking out my Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky Pacifist challenge I did. Or you can just check out the playlist containing them all I've done so far, so you can pick one out for yourself. Both of those things can be found over here. With that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll get to see you next time for another Pokemon challenge. Until then, hopefully I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching!